What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Got something special for you today. I got the Decatur Player's easy tuning guide for you today. So let's get right into it. I want this to be a easy tuning guide. Okay, so you guys are gonna see me looking down at my notes for this one, because if I don't go by my notes, it won't be an easy tuning guide. It'll be a 2 hour it'll be a 2 hour video. Okay, so let me peep down at my notes and get into it. So why am I doing this tuning guide? The reason I'm doing the tuning guide is because I want to see sim racing grow. It's relatively a small number of us. They call this a niche audience for sim racing, and I wanna see it grow. I want to get it. I want to see us have more guys out here sim racing, and one of the things that I know that runs guys away from sim racing is tuning. Okay, all right. So we're gonna talk a little bit about tuning here and why it's important to be able to tune your car. The main reason it's important to tune your car is because there is no feeling like being able to build a car for yourself, which is important because no two people drive a car the same way. So no two people like the same thing in a regular car or a race car. You put two different drivers in a race car and give them the same team, and you'll see that those two drivers will be asking the team for different things, right? For their comfort level. So when you can build a race car for yourself, it's a really good feeling because you know you got a car that you can drive. All right, and so just to start out, I want to say that tuning sucked for me when I started. When I started back on NASCAR 09, and even up until recently, I kind of struggled with tuning, not because I didn't know what I was doing, but I was always looking for a trick. I was always looking for the gimmick. And what I ultimately found out was there was no trick, there was no gimmick. It's just hard work. It's just spending time behind the steering wheel. All right. And so one of the common themes out here with tuning and with the new guys, one of the common things you hear from the veteran drivers or the faster guys, the more experienced guys out here in sim racing, one of the things you hear is that the new guys are lazy. And I don't really believe that. I don't believe that because I know my situation when I started tuning. I hated tuning not because I was lazy. I hated tuning because I had no idea what I was doing. I did not know what I was doing at all. And so I know how that feels for other guys. That's a very frustrating experience when you're sitting there fiddling with the car, fiddling around with the car and messing with the car, and you have no idea what you're doing. Then the experience of tuning it's not a good experience. What I will say is that once you learn how to tune, tuning then becomes very addictive. All right, finding speed, finding pace, finding lap time. Once you learn how to do it, it gets to be really addictive. And so I was going to address this later in the video, but I guess I might as well address it now. If you're coming over from a game like Forza or a game like Gran Turismo, where you got to do all these races and you got to do all this stuff and get these parts and really grind up. We call it the grind in sim racing. And you got to grind up and you got to do all this stuff to get the faster cars and blah, 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 right? Well, when you come over to sim racing, tuning is what replaces that grind, okay? So you won't be grinding to get parts and get cars and all this different stuff, but you will be grinding because if you want to be good as a sim racer, you will have your controller in your hand, you will be in the seat of your simulator, you will be behind your steering wheel if you want to get better, because it takes time, it takes a lot of learning to get better, okay? And I figured I found out once guys learn how to do this, then they kind of want to put that time in to get better. And so the last part of this that we're going to cover before we actually get into the guide is what I'm teaching you is how to tune by feel. So my tuning method, a lot of guys teach tuning mathematically, or they use the complicated language of understeer and oversteer, loose tight. That's a complicated language when guys don't understand what it means, right? So what I want to teach you to do is I want to teach you to tune the car by feel. I want you to tune the car by what you feel from the car, okay? And so what does it take to do this? This is the most key piece to learning how to tune this way, okay? The first thing you have to do is you need to jump in the car. You need to jump in the default setup, take the car out, and you need to build consistency. That is the key to tuning, to this tuning method. You have to build consistency in the car. Why is consistency so important? Why is consistency so important to learning how to tune and getting feedback from your car? The more consistent you become, the more consistent the feeling from the car becomes. So if you're driving around, you're going off track, you're hitting turns, and every time you hit the same turn, you're hitting it 5 different ways. If that's your driving method, it's going to be hard to feel things from the car, because if you go into a turn and you hit that turn 5 different ways, then you're going to get 5 different feelings from the car, from the same car. so you're not going to be able to tell what's going on with your car. Once you build solid consistency, right, then you'll be able to feel the smallest change in the car, right? All right, so had a little technical difficulty there. So I had to cut the video right there. Anyway, so let's get into the actual guide. So that was a good place to cut anyway, because now it's time to get into the actual guide. All right. So here is the tuning guide. Okay. Once you've built your consistency, once you've got your consistency up, and now it's time to go in and make a tuning change. The first part of this is this, and I wanted to cover consistency first, but I really should have covered the first 4 steps of the guide first, but I wanted to make sure that I got consistency down, okay? That I really drill consistency home, because that's important. But, so here are the first 4 phases. Here are the first 4 things you will need to set up for your tuning session, okay? First of all, number 1 car. Number 2, 1 track. Number 3, 1 set of weather conditions. Number 4, a lap time. Okay. Now, what are these four things? These four things are how you decrease the variables in your room and reduce your learning curve. Okay. And I'll go back over there in just a second. I want to list the last four things that you'll be doing once you actually start to make tuning adjustments. Okay. So that is number one, what you'll actually be working on when you make your tuning adjustments. One, braking. Two, turning. Three, your arrow. And four, power, getting your power to the ground. Okay. All right. So now let's go back over there, and I'm gonna go again. This is a quick guide. So for all my veteran guys out there, for all my experienced guys, this is not the guide for you. This is for guys who want to learn how to tune and want to get into tuning. Okay. And then once you get into tuning, then you have the interest to go read all these other guides because now you understand what you're doing. All right. So now let's go over it. This is a quick guide, and I'm going to try to go through it quick. This is the hard part. All right. Quick guide. One car. The reason one car is so important, the biggest mistake that I see guys make when it comes to going fast, it's your game. You paid for it. You play it how you want to. But the biggest mistake that I see guys make when they get on the simulator is they want to come on and they want to drive all the cars. Okay. If you put in 1 hour of tuning, even 2 hours of tuning into one of these cars every day, you could literally work on some of these cars for weeks, months. Some guys do. This guy's been playing ACC and project cars for years, and they still going in there messing with the car, seeing if they can find speed, right? So it's so much you can learn about one car. If you get on the game and you just start driving all the cars, and you drive this car and you drive that car, and that's good to do initially to find the car that you want to drive. But once you find the car you want to drive, stick to it so that you can learn it. Okay. Number two, one track. Same application as one car. It takes a while. It takes me a week to learn a new track. You know, it takes me 2 or 3 days to learn the track. And then it takes me another 2 or 3 days to pull speed from the track, to really learn the track. So learning a track is a complicated process. And if you want to draw speed out of the track, if you want to draw lap time out of the track, you got to learn it in detail. You're not just going to go out and go on the track or go around the track 3 times and get fast. Okay. One set of weather conditions. Now, on a lot of games, the weather conditions might not apply because the tire model is not that detailed. But on these games that we're getting now, the weather model does apply. And so a change of 5 degrees, 10 degrees can really change the performance of the car. And so that's why you want to tune in one set of weather conditions. Okay. So if you're throwing the weather conditions all over the place, you're going to get a ton of different feels for the car. All right. A lap time. All right. When you get on the game, you want to see what the fastest guys are running. But you don't want to use that as your necessarily your measuring stick, because some of those super alien times, you don't want to use that as your measuring stick as a beginner. As a beginner, maybe have that as a place you want to reach or achieve or get close to, but not. You really want to more so focus in as far as your times go on the fastest real life times at those tracks for that car, and getting slightly faster than what the real lifetimes may be. Right. All right. And so this is decreasing variables. I had a technical glitch there, guys. I'm trying to get my focus back. But so this is basically decreasing variables, and you want to decrease these variables, and it makes your learning curve much easier. Okay. So now let's get into when you actually start making tuning adjustments. Okay. So the first one, and I'm gonna try to be quick with this because again we can get real deep in the weeds, and I just want you to get the basics. Number one is braking. Okay. Braking may be the most important, especially when it comes to road course racing, a game like ACC. Braking may be the absolute most important part of driving the car fast. All right. And the reason that is where you're going to find your most speed is your ability to drive the car through the corner. All right. And so the corner breaks down into three different regions: corner entry, mid turn or the apex, and corner exit. All right. And so the reason braking is so important, if the car is not braking well, or if you are not braking well, you're going to screw up corner entry. You screw up corner entry, the middle of the turn screwed up, corner exit is screwed up, you slow through the turn. Once you screw up corner entry, you can't fix that mistake. All right. So braking is so key to being fast because braking sets up your corner entry. Okay. All right. The second phase or the second thing in tuning. Okay. And this is getting the car to turn. Okay. Or turning. You will hear guys sometimes refer to this as getting the car to rotate. This may be the hardest part of understanding tuning, because getting the car to rotate is you get real deep in the woods with your tuning there. But as you tune and as you adjust, you'll learn. And so a lot of guys explain this through understeer and oversteer, and American terminology, loose tight. So understeer being tight, oversteer being loose. And they explain it this way, but a lot of guys don't understand that language, right? So there's a lot of videos you can watch on understeer and oversteer. What I'm going to talk about in this video is the sweet spot. I don't hear enough guys talk about the sweet spot, okay? When you get a car that's hitting the sweet spot on a particular turn, let's just talk about one turn, not the whole track. When you get a car that hits the sweet spot in that turn, it's almost like you can do no wrong in that turn. And you'll know it when you feel it. You'll know it when you feel it. It's almost like when you go on that turn, the car drives itself. And it's a real hard feeling to explain, but once you get the car closer, this is when guys get really, really fast. When they get a car that's balanced and is hitting all the turns at the track in the sweet spot. It's almost like you can do no wrong. You're braking, your brakes work perfect, your turn in is perfect, you apex the turn perfect, and you explode out of turn, out of corner exit with lots of power and speed and heavy throttle. And so when it comes to getting the car to turn or rotate, what you want to focus on is getting that car to hit the sweet spot. And that sweet spot falls between oversteer and understeer. But the key thing about it is the comfort level, or where the sweet spot is different for every driver. Okay. All right. So number 3 is aero. Okay. Aero is easy. If you drop the car, a lot of times in sims you find a lot of speed with your ride heights and dropping the car to the ground. Um, dropping the car to the ground is not good for the rain. You want to raise it up some when it's raining. But dropping the car down to the ground is you find a lot of speed there, and you find a lot of stability in your driving. Okay, and so, but if you drop it down too low, the frame will hit the track. You'll bump the track, and that's no bueno. That's no good. Okay, you don't want the car to bump the track. At a minimum, the car bumping the track will slow you down. On the heavy side, the car can bump the track and actually make you lose the car. And so you will see drivers in real life, their car is scraping the ground and shooting sparks. But they know how to drive the car in that condition because they know that once the tires come up to pressure, then it won't drag the ground and hit this, and spark like that. All right, and so they do that so they can run those tire pressures at the absolute lowest values, right? And run that arrow or the ride heights. And so then the second part of your arrow is your downforce. Simple part of downforce. You take downforce off the car and the car will be super fast and straight. It's gonna turn like a brick. Trust me, I took downforce off of cars for years. That's how I tuned. That's how I got fast setups. But you struggle with no downforce on the car. You struggle through the turns. On the flip side of that, you put a whole bunch of downforce on the car will be perfect through the turns, and guys will be running away from you on the straight. All right. And the last part of the guide is braking. I mean, not braking, but power, and getting your power to the ground. Okay. And so let's go through this quick before my phone does, because I don't want to lose you guys here. First thing I want to talk about power when it comes to, so not so much ACC, and I'll get into that. But when you talk about other games where you can tune the car and you have access to the gear ratios and you can tune the gear ratios. All right, I want to tell you guys something about that. Guys do not give up gear secrets. It's like that in real racing, and it's like that in sim racing. You can go all through sim racing and you won't see a whole bunch of chatter about guys giving it. They'll tell you how to tune on the gears, but they won't give you their particular gear secrets. And so that's the gearing is big. But when you're dealing with a game like ACC and getting the power down to the ground, what that basically means is you want to get that power from your motor through the transmission and down. If it's a rear wheel drive vehicle, you want to get that power down to the ground. Spinning the wheels, that's great for drifting games, and that's great for some cases in Gran Turismo and Forza. That's great for that type of driving, and it's fun and it sounds good and all that stuff. But in a race car, spinning the wheels is not fast. Okay. It's not fast. You want that power to go down to the rear wheels, and you want that power to, when it goes into the rear wheels, to be pushing the car forward. Okay. When you're spinning the wheels, it's not moving the car forward. Okay. And so that kind of applies to ACC with the traction control. Okay. You don't want to have your traction control so low that you're spinning out on turns. That's no bueno. That's no good. But at the same time, you don't want to have your traction control so high that it's robbing the car of power. Okay, because you don't want to kick your traction control on, because when you're kicking that traction control on, it reduces the power going to the rear wheels to keep you from spinning the wheels. Okay, because again, spinning the wheels is no bueno in a race car. All right, so guys, that's my easy tuning guide. I'm going to end the video here. But I just wanted to put this out here so guys, at least when they get in the car, they'll know what they're doing and what they're aiming at. Yeah, you'll have to read a little bit about the springs. You'll have to read a little bit about what the traction control does. But once you read it and learn it, then it's just a matter of applying it, and it's really not that hard. And so I learned to tweak and tune on the car by reading, being a member of forums, and studying, and then going out and applying it. I learned the most by going out and applying it. All right. So guys, that's the video for today. I'll see you guys in the next one.